from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
A gunman opens fire on a Bay Area freeway and almost shoots a police officer. Now the search is on for the suspect.
If the Syrian regime uses this poisonous gas again, the United States is locked and loaded.
Tough talk from the Trump administration after it delivers a knockout blow to some Syrian chemical weapons plants. But here in the Bay Area, many disagree with the move. It's 6 a.m. this Sunday, April 15th. Good morning. I'm Melissa Caen.
And I'm Devin Fehely. Investigators are once again looking into a Bay Area freeway shooting. The latest on Interstate 580 in Richmond. KPIX 5's Jessica Flores is there live. Jessica.
Hey, Devin, this has been happening again and again. We had 3 last week, and then yesterday, another freeway shooting on the westbound lanes in 580. Police had the lanes shut down for some time as CHP looks for shell casings, but it's back open now. They're still looking for their suspects. This all happened before 7 p.m. yesterday on the westbound lanes near the Central Avenue in Richmond. A CHP officer had a car pulled over for a routine traffic stop, and at that moment, someone in a white SUV drove by and opened fire. Now, none of those bullets hit the patrol car or the driver. The officer and the driver, they're okay, but a silver Ford Focus sedan driving by was hit by the gunfire. No one was injured. Police shut down all westbound lanes of 580 for hours while they search for the area looking for evidence. Again, those shell casings that they continually look for when these freeway shootings happen. Now, traffic was backed up for miles and officers directed cars off the freeway at Bayview Avenue.
We have no reason to believe at this time that the officer was a target of the shooting.
Now, the freeway shooting does follow 3 other freeway shootings last week in the East Bay. CHP says 2 of those shootings last week were pretty random. They were just a result of road rage. Now, the motive in this latest shooting is unclear, but CHP says a lot of times these shootings are gang related. The Bay Area averages about 1 freeway shooting a week. And again, CHP, they're still looking for the case. Reporting live here in Richmond, I'm Jessica Flores, KPIX 5.
And a man is hospitalized and in custody, accused of stealing a car and leading police on a chase in Danville. The pursuit ended with the stolen car crashing into some trees on Camino Tesahara Road. Investigators say the vehicle was stolen in Oakland, and police were alerted when the car was detected by an automated license plate reader system.
Police are looking for a gunman who shot and killed a man who was riding a motorcycle in East Oakland. It happened about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon on 42nd Avenue near the ramps to Interstate 880. The victim was a 52-year-old from Hayward. His name has not been released, and a motive has not yet been established. Police in San Francisco say they finally caught a hit-and-run driver. Surveillance video shows a female jogger getting hit by a Jeep last month. The impact sent her flying into some shrubbery. She was seriously injured, but did survive. Police say the driver, Alapati, faces a number of charges, including felony hit-and-run and reckless driving.
And President Trump is claiming victory after an Allied missile attack on Syria's chemical weapons program. But the Syrian regime is saying the strikes were not effective. Here's what we know. The U.S., UK, and France carried out the attack. The Pentagon says 105 missiles were launched and 3 sites were targeted. They include 2 chemical weapons facilities and a scientific research center. Reporter Laura Podesta has the latest.
The Pentagon released photographic evidence of the bombed Barza facility in Syria's capital city of Damascus. The building was central to Bashar al-Assad's chemical weapons program.
This is going to set the Syrian chemical weapons program back for years.
Long-range Tomahawk missiles were launched from a U.S. Navy ship, striking 2 other chemical-related facilities early Saturday morning. Smoke was still rising from the ashes hours later. The airstrikes were in response to the suspected chemical attack that left dozens dead last weekend in Douma. Assad has denied any involvement, but Vice President Mike Pence put him and the leaders of Iran and Russia on notice.
To be clear, the United States is also ready to take additional action in a sustained way to ensure that Syria understands there will be a price to pay if they ever use chemical weapons again.
Following the bombing campaign, Syrian TV quickly released video of Assad casually walking through a building. A resolution condemning the missile attack put forth by Russia here at the UN Security Council was rejected.
We acted to deter the future use of chemical weapons by holding the Syrian regime responsible for its atrocities against humanity.
On Saturday, a team of UN chemical experts arrived in Syria to investigate whether Assad's government was responsible for the attack a week ago. And Syrians danced in the street as a show of defiance against the United States. Laura Podesta, CBS News at the United Nations.
Dozens of people gathered in San Francisco yesterday to protest the airstrikes on Syria. The Answer Coalition says its concern is that the conflict will escalate, that this will not be a one-time targeted response. The airstrike was executed without congressional approval. San Mateo County Congresswoman Jackie Spears says that's a problem.
The president has to come to Congress and seek an authorization of use of military force. He cannot continue to rely on his commander-in-chief role.
The Answer Coalition has another rally planned today at Oakland's Lake Merritt Amphitheater at 11:30 a.m. Whether you're just starting out or already a pro, a new bike park in San Jose offers something for everyone. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held yesterday at Lake Cunningham Sports Park. City officials say the park is a perfect fit for the city's goal to provide kids with opportunities to exercise, get outside, and have a place for good, clean fun.
Rallies known as the March for Science took place all across the U.S. this weekend. Washington, D.C. had the biggest one, and dozens of people also gathered in Oakland to speak with scientists and educators. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi used the event to blast the White House while calling for the head of the EPA to step down.
We cannot stand by while this administration silences science. Right now, instead of Environmental Protection Agency, it is the Enabling Pollution Agency. You have corruption and conflict of interest, which is endangering the air our children breathe, the water they drink. I agree with the Congresswoman. Scott Pruitt must go.
At the event in Oakland, things weren't so political. People were encouraged to walk around Lake Merritt to show their support for science.
And Starbucks is apologizing this morning after a video surfaced online showing two black men being arrested in one of their coffee shops.
What did they get called for? Because there were two black guys sitting here meeting me? Yes, well, what did they do? What did they do? Did someone tell me what they did?
Now, apparently the two men sat down without buying a drink, so the cops were called. It happened in Philadelphia. Witnesses say the men were just waiting for their friend, and now they've hired an attorney.
These guys were doing what people do every single day. They were having a meeting, and they were undoubtedly singled out because of their race.
These officers did absolutely nothing wrong, and that they did a service that they were called to do.
Some are calling for a boycott of Starbucks. We spoke with some Starbucks goers in San Francisco about the controversial arrest.
Since I'm a person of color, it could have happened to me. I could just been standing there and thinking, what do I want? Or just, am I going to get something? And then they could have said, what are you doing here?
Starbucks issued a statement that says, in part, we apologize to the two individuals and our customers and are disappointed that this led to an arrest. We take these matters seriously, and clearly we have more work to do when it comes to how we handle incidents in our store. Starbucks says it's also reviewing its policies and is planning to work with the community and the police department to prevent another situation like this from happening again.
Is anybody ready for some playoff basketball action? I know I am. 2018 NBA postseason started in Oakland. Hey, before the game, Steph Curry, rehabbing that knee. Oh, he's about a week away from being reevaluated. Oh, man, it would be great to get him in the lineup. But we are glad that Kevin Durant is in the lineup. Give me a dunk here. 24 points. They led by 16 at the half. No answers by the San Antonio Spurs. It was all Warrior Nation. Klay Thompson, 27 points. Warriors won 113-92. Game 2 is on Monday. NHL playoffs, Ducks, Sharks in white. This is game 2 of that playoff series. Kevin LeBlanc's pass perfectly set up Logan Couture his first playoff goal and a 2-1 San Jose lead. But they were back for more in the second period. Thomas Hertl, he knew where the net was. San Jose won 3-2. They take a 2-0 series lead coming back to the tank. The Giants wish I had better news. Sent back Saturday by Hunter Renfroe and the San Diego Padres 5-4. And in Seattle, Mariners' Kyle Seager, he was 3 for 4 in the night against the A's for a good reason. A solo home run there. Seattle won a final of 10-8. Other winners in the NBA playoffs include Philadelphia, Toronto, and New Orleans. That is a quick little sports update.
Time for your final five this morning. In Marin County, an ambulance carrying an injured bicyclist got into a crash.
So 3 people had to be transported to the hospital. The accident happened in San Anselmo on Sir Francis Drake Boulevard at Broadmoor Avenue. Earlier, the cyclist had collided with a car in Fairfax.
And in East Oakland, police say someone shot a motorcycle rider in the back near Interstate 880. A 52-year-old man died at the scene. Police believe he was heading home to Hayward. It's not clear if the gunfire came from a car or someone on the street.
And a driver is behind bars this morning after police say she struck a woman in San Francisco, then took off. It happened last month along Bernal Heights Boulevard. The 41-year-old was arrested and booked on a number of charges, including hit and run and concealing evidence.
A new Bay Area monument is honoring families of veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. The Gold Star Families Memorial Monument is one of 33 monuments that have been installed across the U.S. You can visit it at Oak Hill Cemetery in San Jose.
And the Pentagon has released new details about Allied forces' strike against Syria, saying 105 weapons were successfully launched on 3 targets. Hours after the bombing, the United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting and voted on the attack, on which Russia and Iran called an act of aggression.
And we are looking at showers moving in throughout the day today. By this afternoon, I think all of us will likely see at least a little bit of rainfall as that front passes through, starting around lunchtime in the North Bay and then this evening in the South Bay. Tomorrow, lingering showers and a possibility of thunderstorm. Dry Tuesday, Wednesday. Next round of rain comes Thursday. A little something for everyone in that forecast.
That's right. It's going to be a roller coaster this week.
It sure is. We got our bout of sunshine yesterday, so hopefully that was enough to tide you over for a couple of days.